This is Tim from Hygraph, and in this video I'm going to show you how to add an external REST API into Hygraph. This is the CMS Maverick. So we're in Hygraph here and we have to add this remote source that is an external API. So let's add one. And so for this we need a name but also a URL. So let's first go and find an external URL. So we have this Federate Disk platform that we've built for demos and, testing things. And so there's a generic product API route with fake data in here. So let's just grab this URL and go back to Hygraph and start adding it. So we call this Federate Disk products, if I spell it correctly. Here we go. And so let's enable the debug so we get a little bit of extra information about all the fields. Turn this off for development or for production. So this time it's going to be a REST. And so let's add this base URL. So normally you could add some headers here like API authentication, things like that. But because this is an API made for demos and just fiddling around with stuff, we don't have to do that. However, we do need a custom type definition. So what we're doing with this is we're telling Hygraph's GraphQL endpoint, we're going to give you some REST information, and the typing of this REST information is exactly this, because GraphQL is strongly typed. It needs to have a certain structure. So when we go back to this endpoint here, we actually give you this SDL. This is what we call this, it's like a definition language specifically for GraphQL. And so let's copy that and then add a type definition and put it in. And so we don't need another one, and we also don't need an input type definition for this one, because an input type definition would be actually, I'm typing the stuff, we're actually asking Hygraph, and that would then ask the REST source, right? So we don't need that now because I'm just going to get all the products. So let's hit add here. And so now that this is done, we've added the base of this remote source. Now we still need to query it. So we can go to a global query in Hygraph and go REST, that's what we just added, and just ask for the products. And so we get this from the Federate Disk products remote source. We're going to use get because that's what this REST API does. And the return type is actually going to be products because we just set that up in the SDL type definition specific for this REST endpoint. We don't need input arguments because we're not going to do where the product ID is 1, 2, 3. No, we're just going to get all the products for now. So let's add this bad boy. It's there. And now that we've added this as a global query in Hygraph, we can go to the playground and actually find that. So let's remove assets here and we go to products. There it is. And here we get our data and let's get all this stuff here. So this is actually coming now from the Federate Disk platform into Hygraph as if it were Hygraph data. But this actually came from this REST API. And so this is showing now this fast because we cache it on the CDN edge. So if something changes on the source URL, like a product update or something like that, based on a time to live in Hygraph, let's say 30 seconds, 1 hour, 1 day, it will just refresh this thing. So you have an autonomous source that can change things, but the data is in Hygraph. So developers can just query one place, or content editors can use product information now without having to understand the other system. It's all in Hygraph. So this was the CMS Maverick. Thank you for watching and join our community at slack.hygraph.com or create a free account where you can try all of this stuff on Hygraph.com. Happy coding. Cheers.